Chapter 8. The Avalanche. The squad leader had only rushed 2 steps forward when a surreal scene unfolded before us. The single fire-breathing, bizarre beetle suddenly split into 3 identical creatures. One of the blue fireballs zoomed straight at the squad leader. The other 2 shot like lightning into the crowd. The squad leader, the cook Zhao, and the signalman Little Lin were all struck by the fireballs. Their bodies ignited, and the 3 of them let out terrible screams as they twisted and writhed on the ground, desperately trying to roll and smother the flames. Then, something horrific happened. Due to the tension of facing the fireballs, the soldiers had already unlocked the safeties on their guns, loading their chambers with ammunition. Little Lin, only 16, lacked the courage and mental fortitude that the political commissar and the squad leader had shown in the face of death. The demon-like flames overwhelmed his senses. In agony, under the attack of the relentless fire, he accidentally discharged his semi-automatic rifle. The heavy sound of gunfire rang out as 3 of his comrades were hit by stray bullets, each falling into pools of their own blood. The situation had deteriorated dramatically. The political commissar had preferred to end his own life rather than allow us to fire our guns. But in the chaos, shots were fired nonetheless. The terror invoked by the peculiar fire beetles paled in comparison to the calamity that would be unleashed by the sound of gunfire. An avalanche. Such an event would spell the end for the squad. Under the Great Glacier, a scream might cause an avalanche with a 30% likelihood, but gunfire was almost a certain trigger of disaster. Seeing Little Lin lose his wits and accidentally killing 3 comrades, I barely had time to think. Gritting my teeth, I aimed and fired a 3-shot burst from my rifle, putting an end to the tormented lives of Little Lin, the squad leader, and Zhao, who were struggling in the flames. The echo of the rifle shots ricocheted through the narrow valley, magnified by the ice walls of the Great Glacier like a colossal natural amphitheater. The reverberations of gunfire, screams, and cries created wave after wave of echoes that seemed to go on indefinitely. I hadn't recovered from the pain of having to shoot my own comrades when I touched my forehead upon feeling a sudden coldness only to find a snowflake. It was a clear day, and the sun was shining bright. There was no possibility of snowfall. When I felt the snowflake, my heart sank with the realization. The avalanche has started. At that moment, from the still blazing bodies of the fallen soldiers, more blue fireballs arose. There was no longer any need to hold back from shooting. Gawa, known for the best aim in the squad, took aim with his rifle and, without a second's hesitation, fired 3 shots. Each bullet hit a fireball dead center. The beetles inside were much smaller than the bullets, and their bodies were completely obliterated, extinguishing the flames as well. After this brief yet brutal skirmish, from our original 10, only myself, the big guy, and Gawa, along with the 2 remaining specialists, Lu the engineer and Luoning, were alive. The snowflakes falling from above increased in number, accompanied by a deep rumbling sound from the sky. The entire valley began to shake. I looked upward and saw a white, storm-like surge rolling down from the snowfields, like a monstrous white tsunami heading straight towards us. The big guy yanked at me, shouting, "Who? Damn it, what are you still looking at? Let's move." We were in the middle of the valley, a place that the avalanche would certainly fill, leaving no escape. But in such a do-or-die moment, it's instinctual to struggle for survival. Luo Ning, paralyzed with fear, had collapsed. The big guy hefted her onto his shoulders. I joined Gawa in dragging Engineer Lu, racing towards the opposite side of the Great Glacier. Our hope was to reach the slightly higher slopes on the other side before the avalanche fell, grasping at this last thread of survival. Even in our most desperate moment, none of us let go of our rifles. A soldier's weapon is part of his life, and to abandon it is to forsake military honor. Everything else was discarded: equipment, supplies, anything to lighten our load. We didn't have time to drop our packs, so the 5 survivors clutched and dragged each other as we ran wildly. The avalanche was mercilessly fast, overwhelming in its fury. The valley shook with the energy of the collapsing snow. The ground quaked. I had heard of avalanches before, but could never have imagined the colossal force of these silver waves. We lost all hope. No amount of running would save us now. But then, a sheer miracle. Violent tremors from the avalanche split open a gaping crack down a steep slope in front of us. With the storm of snow almost upon us, we had no time to think. We plunged into the fissure, sliding down its sharp incline. Unexpectedly, the slope dropped sharply, and we tumbled down, rolling and crashing into a large cavity below. A massive snow slab rolled down behind us, sealing the cracks perfectly, filling the air with a burst of snow and making us cough violently. The thunderous noise overhead lasted for a long while before it ceased, and by its intensity, we could tell that the amount of snow above us was immense. In the pitch black, unable to see anything, we all caught our breath, lying still for a long time before anyone spoke. The big guy's northeastern accent broke the silence, asking if everyone was still alive. My whole body felt like it had nearly fallen apart. Pain kept me quiet. I just hummed to indicate I was still breathing. Gawa answered, and then lit a flashlight, scanning our surroundings. Luo Ning sat dully on the ground, appearing mostly uninjured, while Engineer Lu lay unconscious beside her, his left shin bone broken and protruding stark white.